Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a freebie I've created for Playing with Paper and Glue Facebook group. I've got 7 pages here and I'll put a link in the description box to the Facebook group so you can get your freebie there, or it will also be available in my Ko-fi shop. So up to you. But I will put a link to the Facebook group and you can pop over there. There's lots of interesting projects happening over there, so have a look. Okay, so I've got 3 journal pages. So this is one, this one. I thought that looked really nice. You know, when you fold your journaling page, you've got 2 pages with nice bottom borders like that. And then this one here. So that's the 3. I've got 1 page of fussy cuts. And I've got 3 pages of embellishments. So I've got some small labels and some tickets. I've got a frame, a little booklet and some circles. You can use your circles in your clusters or decorating, whatever you wish. And then just a sheet of plain embellishments. So these are ready for you just to embellish. You could use your fussy cuts, you could use whatever you like to embellish these. So fairly plain, tags, pockets, folios, that sort of thing. So that's the freebie, and now I'm going to go and cut all of these up and then I'll come back and we'll make some sort of project. Okay, so I've cut out all of the ephemera. I've got it all sitting here. I haven't done anything else with it except cut it out. I haven't inked it or backed it or anything like that. And I have printed on the back of this page with one of the background sheets from the kit. So I'm just going to use this page. I haven't done anything with these 2 pages. And I'm going to make a journal using this kit. And so I'm just going to make an envelope to go into that journal. Now I've got my envelope maker here. Now I make my pages are generally like half an A4 page, so folded in half like that. That's my page size. So I want to make, and I know that my maximum I can do is 8 1/4 inches. So going by this guide on here, I can make a 4x6 envelope using an 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. If you don't have a envelope maker, you can just make it using it without. Make an envelope so you don't have to use that. And also in my kit, I do have a couple of envelopes as well. So now let's have a look. 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. So let's cut that there. Now I don't know whether you know how to use one of these envelope makers or not, but if we have a look here where it says 8 1/4, I hope you can see that okay. It says to start a score line on 3 3/8. So we move along here to 3 3/8 with the edge of our paper. So 3 1 2 3/8 is there. So you can see I've got my edge of my paper lined up there. I've got it pushed firmly up against the barrier there. I press this down and that punches there, and then along here there's a score line. So put your score tool right up along the edge of that and then run it down that groove. You can see there the groove. Once we've done that, we simply turn it around so that this pointy piece is lining up with that line we just grooved down there. Don't worry about this measurement out here anymore. Punch it down and score. And we just keep going around our paper, the 4 sides, in that manner. Then you can see there's our little pieces of paper that have come out of there. Now in the back of this punch there is a corner rounder, so we can pop our pointy pieces in there and punch it down, and that rounds them off so that we've got a nice finish to our envelope. You don't have to do that, you can leave them pointy if you wish. I do prefer the rounded look. Okay, so that's how easy it is to make an envelope with one of these envelope punch boards. So now I'm going to fold this up. So I'm just folding along the score lines that we've already done. Now at this stage we can have a look and see, well that's up the right way there, and now, so what we'll do is this one will come out, this will come on top of that. Now you can leave it like this, you can stick it down and have that pointing up there, but I generally run something across here. You can use a ruler or whatever you've got handy. I'm just using my bone folder. Then I just run my finger under there, my fingernail really, and that gives me that fold line, and then I can fold that under and that will give me a nice finish here. So let's just glue that piece down. And score it so that we get a nice crease, a nice crisp crease there. Okay, now I'm going to ink around it. Now if you haven't double printed your paper, you'll have white in here. You can use your inking tool and ink that up instead of having the print there. Okay, so that's our inking done. Now I'm going to just glue it down. So I glue along there, and then I glue along the outer edge of this as well. That way it catches both edges and you haven't got anything cropping up in your envelope when you're putting stuff in there. It catches it nicely. You don't have to worry about things getting stuck as you're putting them in. Okay, so that's our envelope. Very simple, very straightforward. Now I'm going to decorate this a little, because my plan is I'm going to put this onto my edge of my page, so pretend this is my journal page, so that will go over my journal page like that, and it will flip out and give me a pocket there. And also I'll just attach it on this page here, which will give me like a belly band here where I can put like a tall skinny tag or something like that. You can do that, or you can just use this as a freestanding envelope and put it into a pocket, any of those sorts of things. Right, so let's do some embellishing on this. So we've got, make sure we've got our flap. Now that is, I would probably put it more that way because those pictures are up, facing up better in my opinion. So I'm going to have my flap to my right. Now let's have a look what we've got here that we can embellish this with. There's lots of bits and pieces here. Now I have some coffee dyed lace. I could use something like that. I think I've got some smaller. I've got some smaller tags here, and I could put something like that with it. If I was going to, before I use this, I will cut that out. I'll probably cut that out using my knife. I could use the envelope on there because that's the same as that picture on there. I think I will do that actually. And I wouldn't mind a larger tag like that. And I want to put something behind it. Now I've got some white lace. There, I have used white throughout this kit, so even though I'm going to have coffee dyed pages, I'm not scared to add white to it. White and coffee dyed looks nice together. So I've got some pages here. So, you know, white with that looks nice. And, you know, you've got something like that and that. I think they look nice together because you've got your white in your daisies. So I can either use some white, or I have got some coffee dyed cheesecloth here. Perhaps if I use the, well, I do like the white. So let's have a look. I'm thinking about putting some white lace between these two. So say just in there like that, and then this down in here like so. So just as a little bit of some texture there. What do we think? Do we like that, or would we rather have some coffee dyed cheesecloth? Let me cut a bit off and see what we think. I've got quite a lot of it here because I decided that if I was going to be coffee dyeing, I may as well do a lot. Then I probably won't have to do it again for a while. But I do love the cheesecloth behind things. So that's the white. I think the cheesecloth helps this to stand out more, don't you? So I think I'll go with the cheesecloth. Now this is a selvage along here, and I'm going to cut that off because I like to fray the edges of my cheesecloth. And of course, if it's a selvage, it's not going to fray out at all. And now we can just pull some of these threads out. Very easy to do. If you've ever worked with cheesecloth, you know it can be a curse if you don't want it to fray out, but it frays out very easily if you do want it to. Right, so I'm going to ink around these now. So I'll do that off screen. You don't need to watch me do that. And when I've got that organised, I'll be back. Alright, I have inked around those. Now I'm going to put an eyelet in this tag. I don't know that I'll put anything in the eyelet, but I just want to make this look a bit more finished. I'm going to punch that out, and it doesn't quite cover the whole lot, so I've just put some ink over that. Now let's ink around the, put an eyelet in it. Let's do a white one, which fairly well covers that white area. or what was white, and we inked over. Well, these ones are really hard to do. Okay, got it. Okay, now there's an option there to put something in that if we want to, but I don't know that it actually needs it. We can always add something later if we want to. So let's attach these now. First of all, we'll stick our label down. So I'm using the Boyle's EVA glue here. I have normally been using art glitter glue, but I bought this glue at Bunnings here in Australia, which is a hardware store. And I have heard other people say that the EVA glue is really good. Now, it does have that acetone smell to it, so if you're not an acetone smell person, it's definitely not the glue for you. But I've been finding it works quite well, and it doesn't crease up your paper, you know, make your crinkly paper. It does give you a little bit more wriggle time than the art glitter glue, but it does catch quite quickly, so just a little bit more wriggle room. And yeah, I'm finding it quite good so far. And this bottle, it's got a nice fine point to it. I bought this at one of the cheap shops here in Australia called Jeepers Chips. There's one just down at the end of my street. So they come 2 in a pack, and I thought I'd give it a try, thinking that, you know, it's going to be way too fat and thick, but not so. Okay, so let's pat that down. And I also have this floral applique that I have coffee dyed, and I thought I would add that to my envelope as well. Just pop that down there. So let's add some glue to that. You could of course use your fabric glue for this. I'm going to try this new glue, see how well it sticks fabric or lace. Okay, let's try that. Okay, now, oh no, I've stuck all that down, so I was going to say if I wanted to I could still put something in there, but I don't think I will. Just the eyelet on there makes it look finished enough for me. The other good thing about this bottle is that it's got a like the cap seals, so your glue does not dry out, and you don't need a pin, which is a bonus. So there we go. There we have our little journal flip out. So out we go like that. We could use one of these sheets of paper to make a journaling card to go in that. But there are lots of journaling cards in the kit, so I'm not going to make one today. I'll use one from the kit and put that in there. Alright, so that's it for today. So that's my freebie. Pop over to Playing with Paper and Glue Facebook group. I'll put a link in the description box for that. You can also get it in my Ko-fi shop. I'll put a link to that in the description box as well. And I'll also put a link to the flip through of the full kit and where you can purchase the full kits if you're interested. So, thank you for joining me, and I hope you've enjoyed our little project, and I hope you can join me when I post my next video. Okay, bye.